What's up, guys, and welcome. I am your bearded dynamo, and today we're talking about Resident Evil Village on the PS5. Alright, guys, how's it going? I'm your bearded dynamo, and I gotta thank you guys for tuning in today. Today I'm talking about Resident Evil Village on the PS5. Now, I do apologize, I've been a little slower on the upload. Unfortunately, I have been captivated in the whirlpool that is Cyberpunk 2077. We're going to have more on that hopefully next week, but we're going to take a look at that and see what happens. But I've got some footage from Resident Evil 8, and I hope you guys enjoy. So without further ado, let's go! Alright guys, we're starting off with Resident Evil Village. Now this video is the opening cinematics and the opening play sequence. Now I have had a chance to finish casual with Resident Evil Village to unlock some of the unlockable features. I think it's probably safe to mention it. When you beat the game on any difficulty, you unlock the bonus content shop. And while the bonus content shop has concept art and figure models and things like that, it also has a shop where you can purchase fantastic upgrades for your weapons as well as new weapons. Now, here towards the end of this opening scene, we find ourselves in a bit of conflict. But right now is a very, very, very good story, which actually has a really solid message. So I would definitely recommend, if you're just watching this for the game content, this is part of the game, and it actually holds quite a bit of value personally. I feel like it teaches a lot. It also kind of gives us an idea of what to expect and what's to come, a lot of foreshadowing. And so what we're doing here is we're getting through this story. Now, this is a first-person view game, much like Biohazard or Resident Evil 7. It just depends on how you're looking at it, when you're looking at it, and who you're talking to. Now, this does take place, I believe it was said to be 3 years following the events of Biohazard for poor Mr. Ethan Winters. And all we can really do is sort of feel for him. You know, if you played through Biohazard, if you played through 7, then you understand that the poor guy, he went through some stuff in an attempt to save his wife, Mia. He got an email from her, said, hey, come to Louisiana and get me. And so he does, and everything just sort of spirals out of control from there. Now, with Village, at the end of Biohazard, at the end of 7, they're asked to relocate, train, basically be prepared for any type of event that could happen. And so, 3 years later, Mr. Ethan Winters, Mrs. Mia Winters, they have Rosemary Winters. Absolutely gorgeous little wee daughter. And that story was actually, it was sort of the prologue to the story, but it was also Mia reading to Rosemary. And sort of like most of these games kind of set up is, you know, learn how to walk, learn how to move, learn how to turn, you know, learn how to follow basic instruction. So here we've got Ethan. Ethan's basically been told, hey, go put the baby to bed, which anybody who's played a Resident Evil game knows that that's probably the easiest task that Ethan is ever going to have for the next roughly 9 hours. That's right, guys. I did, like I said, I did play through it once on casual. Casual difficulty does run about 9 hours. You know, if you get hung up, but you could probably, you know, with just a real, you know, basic understanding, you could probably knock it out in maybe 6 or 7. You know, graphically looks fairly similar. However, you know, the smooths are smoother, the cleans are cleaner. And personally, I feel like the action sequences don't seem to hiccup as much, and that comes from that higher frame rate, and having things like the ray tracing for your shadows, the higher powered processing system that the PS5 has. It really lends itself in games like this. Now, Ethan has put the baby down and is now going to find Mia so that they can enjoy a nice home-cooked meal. And of course, like I said, this all takes place in a very like secluded area in Europe. And so the village, while it does share a lot of very specific, you know, country references to like the old world or the old country, it's not meant to insult in any way. It's not meant to demean or anything like that. It's a Resident Evil horror suspense story that is made to shock you. It's made to scare you. It's made to have you kind of wondering what is going on. So that's sort of where I am with that. However, I love the character development, you know, giving us a 3-year timeline. Now, this is a direct sequel to Biohazard, to 7. And of course, like with every game, there's always some interaction, whether it's Leon Kennedy, whether it's Chris Redfield. Now, I will go ahead and tell you that the village puts you in a weird setup. You know, you're in a village. There's a bunch of mutated monsters, which we don't see in this. They're referred to in a lot of the documentation as lycans, and they kind of look like werewolves, but not super duper. Now, this is more action oriented gameplay versus just the basic like third person survival. This was developed by Capcom. This was published by Capcom. And it is really good. I gotta say. May 7th, 2021, this became available to folks on the consoles as well as on the PC. This was released for Windows, the PS4 and 5, the Stadia unit, and the Xbox One and the Series X and S. So, what is kind of cool, and I didn't have a chance to really jump into that or talk about that. I haven't really played it at all. But it does have an online multiplayer. And so we got the reveal back in June of 2020. And so we got it just about a year later. So it did get favorable reviews. Like, I personally thought it was great. Like, I'm not big on first person games. But I gotta tell you guys, I thought it was really good. And I highly recommend it and think that everybody should give it a chance. You know, it did get a little bit of criticism for the puzzles and boss battles. You know, the focus on action over, you know, the way the older games worked. But the gameplay, the setting, the variety of what goes on, it's really good. And I think anybody who likes Resident Evil, who's played Biohazard, is really going to like Village. It actually ties a lot in. And hopefully, here in the near future, we'll have a secondary kind of look at what we've got and talk a little bit more about some of the stuff that's happened throughout the game. You know, so I want to thank everybody for turning in. Listen to that. For tuning in and checking us out today. So I hope you guys all have a great one. And again, thanks for tuning in to your Bearded Dynamo.
Jesus.
About damn time. What's your status? Is the package safe?
What are you talking about? Where's Chris Redfield? And Rose?
Who is this? This is a secure channel. You are not authorized to walk over.
Fuck. What the hell happened here?
And welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed my impressions, my first take on Resident Evil 8 Village on the PS5. As always, I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and remember, check us out on TikTok at Bearded Dynamo and Instagram at Bearded Dynamo. As always, if you like what you see and you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Comment down below if there's anything you'd like to see or anything you'd like to say. I'll respond. I love having conversations, guys. So, also, if you're subscribed or if you're not subscribed and you think, man, I really like this video, what you can always do is you can always tap that bell notification icon. That bell notification icon is going to let you know every time I post a new video. So, same beard time, same beard channel with the content you crave. Have a great one, everybody.